So we've been talking about some mystical aspects of love. Then we talked about the nature of ego. Then we talked about the nature of anger. And today we'll touch briefly on the subject of greed. So the very first question to ask yourself, how does the greed come up? What is the root cause of the greed? And in the simplest possible language, the root cause of the greed is comparison. Comparison with your sibling, comparison with your neighbor, comparison with your friend. Anytime your mind would turn toward the person sitting next to you, and the thought arises inside you, which is, these clothes are better than mine, so I need to get these type of clothes. You look toward your neighbor. Neighbor's house is bigger than mine. It has more stories, or it has more land. Then my house need to be bigger. If not greater than my neighbor, at least it should be equal. It is a scientifically observed fact that if the entire neighborhood, the blocks of the building are exactly the same size, the plots, the land is the same size, the height of the buildings are the same size, people are very friendly with each other, very friendly. Watch till just one of them adds another story or adds another room, and they invite the entire neighborhood for a block party. What do you think is going to be the reaction? Not necessarily the jealousy, but the greed. Why? Because if he can afford it, I can afford it too. I just didn't think of it before. That's it. So I'm going to talk to the same contractor. And maybe I'll get a little higher than even him. In the scriptures, it is very clearly mentioned. A Muslim Sufi fakir named Sheikh Farid says, Farida, रुखी सुखी खाए के ठंडा पानी पियो, देख पराई चोपड़ी ना तरसाई जियो। Translation: O free, be content with whatever simple food you have. Because the food is meant to satisfy your hunger. That's the purpose of the food. That's it. Rukhi sukhli literally means dry bread, no butter on it. So he says if you have bread without the butter, just eat it and be grateful. Why? Because the moment you look at somebody who has a bread with a butter on it, dekh parai chopadi, chopadi literally means the butter, parai means somebody else's, and dekh means to watch, to look at somebody. The moment you look at somebody with a piece of bread and butter on it, you're going to develop the urge to go get it. And the moment you get that urge, that greed wakes up. What's going to happen? He goes on to explain it. He says, this is what is going to happen. Farida, रोटी तेरी काठ की लावण तेरी भुख जिन्ना खाधी चोपड़ी घने सहन गए दुख. O Farid, those who have been contented with the bread, even though it was dry like a wood plank. Kath literally means wood. If even tasted like dry like wood, but they were able to satisfy the hunger. But those who went out to get the one with the butter, now they are gone on the path which will lead to one trouble after the other. It will become a domino effect, a chain reaction. Because the moment you compare, there is a beautiful metaphor that two friends were sitting next to each other, just like we are sitting. And one friend took the shoes off and found a hole in the socks. The other one pointed out, your socks have a hole. Why don't you buy a new one? He says, that's good. I'm going to get a new one. So next day he goes to the store and buys a new pair of socks. And he wanted to show to his friend that he has new socks now, no more holes. But the friend was smart. He said, I see the new socks, but these socks don't match your pants. And he said, you're absolutely right. They don't match. So next day he goes to the store and buys a new pair of pants. And now he wants to show to his friend, look, my socks and my pants match. And he says, What good is the pant matching with the socks if the shirt doesn't match? So I didn't think of that. So he goes to the market and buys a new shirt. And you can see where this story is leading. He comes back to his friend with a new pair of socks, a new pair of pants, and a new shirt. And the friend says, "This shirt has no tie." So now he goes to get the tie. So next day he's dressed up with a new tie, new shirt, new pants, new sock. And the friend looks at him and says, "A tie and a shirt without the jacket, what does it mean?" So now he buys a matching jacket. And then the friend says, "You have a jacket, but where is the pant matching with it?" So now he buys the pant, it becomes a suit. And the friend said, "Did you notice that when you are wearing the other pant, the socks were matching with that pant, but this pant matches with your jacket, not with your socks?" So what happens now? The cycle starts all over again. What is the foundation of greed? Looking at the others and comparing.